First going to show you Solar GM Conquest Delve on Titan. I already covered this the other day, I'll cover it again. Modifiers are Fireteam Power Boosting, Time Bonus, No Radar, Limited Res, Equipment Locked, Haste, Avant-Garde, Scourge 3, Galvanize 2, Champions Overload Barrier, Vex Shocker, Difficult Arc Threat, Hot Step, and Bane's a Raging Shroud. Important key points, Haste is on, we need to think about that the entire run. We won't get health. Champions Overload and Barrier, we need to spec for them. Difficult Arc Threat is on, so we must run double arc resistance to counter this damage. Edge of Fate gear must be used for this run. Okay, let's get the basics out of the way and then we'll get more into the complicated information. I'm on Bolt Charge Titan, Feast of Havoc, Rally Barricade, Seismic Strike, Pulse Grenade, Storm's Keep, Knockout aspects, Fragment, Spag of Resistance, Shock, Focus and Frequency. Focus is hugely powerful in this. Pairing that with Crest of Alpha Loop I build because it's probably the best Edge of Fate centric, arc centric build that we have. Armor mods on screen, double arc resist concussive needs to be put on. Make sure you run it. Don't run anything else. If I see you or even smell that you've done this, if you do that, dude, I ain't talking to you, man. Don't be running no ammo generation mods. Don't do it. If I see you do it, if I even sense that you might have done it, I'll be down your house having it out with you about it. Don't be doing it. Nope. Don't do it. Don't be fooled by the clickbait fools. Don't be clickbaited. Double arc resist concussive. What worked in the past works now in endgame, and it just does. Techsec armor. This is a 200% damage boost to combatant shields, and the 4-piece concussive rounds offers a disorienting kinetic blow. It's OP in conquests because a lot of overshields, a lot of elemental shields. Artifact mods, barrier scout, shield crush, that's all that matters. Maybe elemental days, that's it. Nothing else matters for this, just those mods. Alright, so weapons, I'm using return memory. Not a lot of people talk about it. It's OP, very powerful. If you're not using mint retrograde, this is a very powerful weapon. It's a good weapon to pair with maybe a kinetic primary. Boom Slang is OP as well. Jolting feedback is so strong and powerful in the game. Take advantage of this. And finally, Dead Man's Tale. It is Barrier Scout. This will deal with Barrier Champions, and this is a meta primary now. It is unbelievably strong with Techsec. Dead Man's Tale is so powerful, man. It even rivals Outbreak Perfected. It even rivals him. Now, I was having problems with Outbreak because it was being a little of a nuisance, right, to us in the run because it was basically upsetting Barrier Champions. Barrier Champions would freak out due to nanite damage, and this was no good to the run. So I was like, yesterday I was a bit perplexed. I was like, I had a one-on-one conversation with Outbreak. I was like, why are you making my life hard work in this GM? And he said, well, I'm doing my nanite damage. I'm doing all I can. I'm like, well, no, you're messing me around. I was coming out swinging, and I just like went that. That'll see to him, put him in the vault. Because Dead Man's Tale, my God, it's unreal. And it's so more consistent than your Outbreak because it doesn't make Barrier Champions freak out. And it pairs perfectly with your Bolt Charge Titan builds. So for the Bolt Charge stats, super, weapons, class, specialist, 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 specialist. That's what you want to run stat-wise for this. And I recommend that you do it on the Titan because this is a long run and there's a lot of tanky targets. It takes a long time to do this mission. So obviously we've got the clear. The loot was a 450 retrograde, 450 bow, 450 arc mountaintop, and 450 boots that weren't well rolled, but they are 450. Now obviously I've done the mission, I can't redo it. Means I can't redo this on Hunter, and I said that I would do this on Hunter. The problem is that I'm gonna be too busy now to be redoing this again on Hunter. This is a long mission, and not only that, it's 45 minutes or even 50 minutes a run, right? If we space that over 3 characters, let's say that's 3 hours, 1 hour a run. Then there's 3 hours of commentary to do. Then there's thumbnails for each character to do. That's 7 hours work. That's a lot of work for maybe not a lot of return in terms of how many people are actually interested in this. Most of you can't even do Conquest Delve because you're not high enough to do it. So I'm cutting my losses. I'm just going to get the clear today because it's Monday, lads. Tuesday is tomorrow, right? Which means reset, which means Zavala resets his loophole. I need to be getting my 450 gear now. I need to just go and get it. It's not my fault that I can't replay this. This is Bungie's design. They need to walk this back as soon as possible. Because right now I'm too busy. I need to go and farm tier 5 armor. I need to do stat distribution tests. I need to check all the things. Now, if I'm messing around with Grandmaster Conquest too much, I'm losing time, right? So I need to just get this mission done and finished. Not only that, the run I want to do on Hunter, I can't do it yet because I haven't got the stats I want for it. So I've cut my losses. Don't worry, Hunter mains. There's other things I can do for you. We have GMs daily, and they are actual GMs because they're minus 40 power. And if you think they're not GMs, all right then, we'll go and solo one. And then come back to me and then ask me, are they GMs? They are GMs, basically. Yeah, so they're there to be done. There's all sorts of things I can be doing for hunters on all this sort of stuff, right? There's more to come with that. We're not finished with this. So that's the reason why I just went for the clear. That's the build information on with the run. Okay, so Titan mains on with the run. This run will go over the advanced information regarding Conquest, where you should stand and where you shouldn't, and what you should do, etc. First, initial adds, you want to take them out because clearing these adds does initiate the next phase. It's not any skips. There is no skips with this. You just need to clear out the adds as you see them and make your way through until the first barrier at least. You want to be working towards your next super. That's the first thing you want to be starting to think about right away off the bat. And when you're going to super as well, more importantly. Now, if there's a Corsair Bane, get rid of him as quickly as you can, to be honest. The Corsair Banes are a bit of a nuisance, but just watch this. This will sort him. There you go, that's it. Just shoulder charge him across the map. That'll deal with him. He's weak now, so that's good. So, we want to just start clearing out these adds. There'll be multiple skips. This is our next position where I stand. And where you stand does make a massive difference. Even if you're on Lupi build, the adds hit hard enough to warrant good positioning. So make sure you are standing rather in decent spots where there's cover available. Short circuit and haste will proc quite often. There's tricks with it where you can strafe back and forth, left and right, to stop haste from proccing, and you'll see me do that a lot. Even behind a barricade, I'll do it a lot and a lot. This skiff here is the barrier champ. We're going to get back up top. It is tempting to super now, but don't. Don't super. The thing that you want to do here is take care of the barrier, because on the next phase right after this is where the snipers are going to be up and stuff. And if the snipers are tethered by barriers, this makes the run hard work. You want to super the difficult phases, not the easier ones. So look at where we are. We're up top, get high ground, look at the insane damage that Dead Man's Tale is doing. I mean, this is Conquest Delve and it's really hitting these barriers hard. It really is. Like 2 or 3 shots from Dead Man's is equaling Arbalest. What was we hitting with Arbalest on the previous video? Was it 329? I think it was 329 per shot, per crit. If we get the right shots, we're doing incredible damage with Dead Man's Tale, and it's an exotic primary. Yeah, and it's barrier. So it's doing what Arbalest would do, but it's infinite ammo, and it's barrier rounds, and it's working all the time. We don't need to manage the ammo for it. This is where you super. Super right now on phase 2 of barrier, because this is where the snipers spawn. The super will penetrate barrier immunity. This is why we run a Roman super. Fist of Havoc is objectively better than T-Crash for this reason. In Battleground GMs, Roman supers beat one-shot supers because you need to deal with much more adds than generally. Battleground GMs are times 3 the amount of adds and champs. So it just makes sense to use Roman super. Just use Roman super. I've tested T-Crash in this. It's not very good. You know why? Because we can't use Curious. Well, we can't use Curious because it's not Edge of Fate, but that's a conversation for a different video. We're on Crest, so if you are using Crest build, Fist is better. Early mid-game, no. T-Crash is better. If you know me with my leveling, from 200 to 400 power. I ran T-Crash the entire time because it one-shots a lot of things, but 200 to 400 power is technically early game. It's not even end game. You're not even at end game yet. Anyone who's at 300 power and stuff, you haven't even approached mid game. You're still early game, because that's the power leveling curve that we're in now. Bungie has made the early game very steep. It's a very steep hill to climb. You're not even touching endgame. You're nowhere near it. Yeah? I'm just being honest. You want me to be honest? I can lie to you if you want. I can tell you what you want to hear, or I can tell you the truth. Which would you prefer? Because that's the truth. You won't hit any endgame at all until post 400. That's enough of a reason for you to hit 400. Yeah? Unless you're not going to see it. You're just messing around in Portal. That's really all you're doing at that levels. Yeah, there are a couple of occasions where, you know, you're doing under-leveled masters and stuff, but, you know, that's different. It's not like what this is. So we've got a super to use. I'm going to use it when the barriers come out. Take the skiff's turrets off. Destroy them. This will make this bit a lot easier by just doing that. Look, use your linear, use the scout, whatever you need. And now we're just going to start working on the red bar ads and such. You will most certainly see the power as well over the Techsec armor boosts, especially when those our captains start coming in. Like, look, we can break their shield, blind them. I mean, he was blinded by my barricade, but he would have been blinded anyways. When you take down any shield at all, it does that blinding concussive wave, and it instantly makes all the ads de-aggro, which is OP. Techsec is OP. It's only OP though when there's shields. Now we get weak here, but I'm planning to play from this distance. But I knew I was going to get weak there. I probably overcommitted slightly, probably a fraction of a second too much. But we do have that get out of jail free card button. That's why Arc Titan's so good with overshield, because as soon as you apply that class ability barricade, you get that overshield straight away. It goes up. Yeah, good super here. The super is doing good job of just getting rid of the ads. Now look at the positioning here. It's good positioning in this because all of the ads are dragged out of the barrier. Yeah, so let's look at this. We're getting hit hard. Yeah, short circuiting's up. Always pay attention to health when you're behind a barricade. It's not a free ticket. You still need to strafe behind that barricade. You still need to make sure you're doing all the things you should be. Look at this jolt. We jolt with Boomslang, then we go for DMT damage. Look at this damage. It doesn't look like a lot, but it is, because it's Conquest, right? It's doing incredible damage. Comparative to Outbreak damage, which it is. So look at all these marauders, the Arc Captains, they're pushing me. This is a great little spot to fight from. And look, I've got super. So I am aware that there's going to be snipers and stuff on the next phase, and they are going to get tethered by the barriers. So just me having a super for that phase is really good that I have that. That's why 100 super stat bonus is so important when solo. I've read a couple of comments of recent days. People just say, I mean, this is the same for Warlock, Hunter and Titan. I've seen a lot of people say, oh well, I like more grenade energy. I like more of this. I like more of that. When you are solo, one of the prerequisites is that you do run 100 super minimum. All builds, every single build that you run, should have 100 super built into it. Whether you're on Arc Hunter, Prismatic Hunter, Solar Titan, Strand Wishful Ignorance, Solar Titan, what else is there? Arc Titan, Song of Flame Warlock. Every single build that you run needs the 190 super ability regen. If you don't do that, you're making a massive mistake. Even if you're on grapple melee. I mean, grapple melee is OP in itself. You know, so I think that's a bad example. But any OP build that you're on, when you play solo, you need the super regen. Lest you're going to have a very bad time in this. I'm talking the difference between a tier 7 super and a tier 100 super is a mild difference. And it only gets worse from there. make sure that you prioritize weapons and super in every single solo build. So say for example grapple melee, right? If you take that as a, I mean I haven't built grapple melee yet, but let's just give you an example. Grapple melee would need high melee regen, yeah? It would need high super and high weapons. Melee super weapons, melee super weapons. There you go. And that is how you would build craft solo. Build crafting solo and build crafting for a fire team are now far miles apart. I would suggest if you're gonna start soloing, start making some sets for solo. Because you haven't got a team member to generate orbs of power for you. You see the problem? So you're not going to get the super regen if you don't rock tier 100 super. I have tested all the tiers below 100. It's no good. Without that ability regen, you just don't get your super, and it's no good for runs. Especially in endgame, where there's ad density, and the ad density is tripled. Well, then you need that super. You need it up. And that is so important to a runs. It really is. In GMs and stuff, if you want to build craft in this game, and you probably want to do it, these are not absolutes, but there are rules for you to follow. 100 weapon stat is absolutely needed. If you don't run a 100 weapon stat, you're going to suffer in endgame. 100 super stat is needed. Then you run a wandering stat, whether it be melee, class or grenade. Like for example on a Starfire protocol build, you need 100, you need 180, 160 grenade stat. So you do that, you do 180 nade stat, 100 super, 100 weapons, and that's your base foundation, right? And it goes on and on and on and on and on from there. Do you understand now how I'm approaching build crafting? Right, look at this with the boom slang. We're jolting everything because of how it's an aggressive burst or adaptive burst linear. It does very well with the jolting feedback, because when you hit a jolted target, you're hitting them 3 times with one shot. So it's spreading out more jolt. So you need the utility boom slang. There is precision instrument on the weapon. Forget about precision instrument. It is good, but jolting feedback is that much better. Yeah, for what I do, jolting feedback is way better than precision instrument. Because it's not damage we want, it's utility. Utility over damage, you know. You need to play that fine game between what are you doing with your damage and utility. Because a utility weapon refers to something that doesn't do the damage, but offers a unique benefit. And that unique benefit being jolting feedback. Jolt stuns overloads, so it's overload linear now, right? Stuns overloads for free. Jolt adds jolt damage, which means and clear and single target damage, and it gives you a lot of control over the battlefield. Now precision instrument is what is it, 25% buff, 20%, whatever it is, I can't remember right now, but that's just a little buff. It's not giving us anything extra, whereas jolting feedback's giving us that more. Look at the utility here, like look at the utility it's doing for us, although that barrier has messed with my brain. But yeah, that's the reasoning behind it. You can't just say, well, more damage is more damage. No, it's a lot more deeper than that, especially when we're solo. You need to really think about what you're doing. You need to have a good understanding, a broad understanding of what all the buffs are and what they do. But do you need that buff? Yeah? Can we run utility over buff, over bigger number? That's the questions you need to ask yourself. And only some of the best players are going to be able to answer these questions. The other players are going to want guidance from other players on when do I run a bigger buff? Do I need a bigger buff? Or do I need more moment-to-moment utility gameplay? Which one do I need? And those are the questions you've got to ask yourself in GMs. And there's not an answer for it. Take Techsec. Look at what Techsec's doing for me here. Right? Now, is Techsec always good? No. Not always. If you run a GM with no shields, oh well. What's the point in Techsec, right? But if there's lots of shields, well then there you go. This is a lock and key armor set. It works for when we need a key for a lock. If there's no lock for the key, then we don't need it. We could run Bushido. See, so when you're doing endgame build, here's another super by the way, look at this. When you do an endgame build, you need multiple sets. You can't just say, I've got Techsec, that's me finished. No, it's not you finished. You would need Bushido set, you'll need Solstice set, you'll need this set, and you'll need that set. So there is endgame chase there, right? According to what people are saying where there's no endgame. Well, there is. Hang on a sec. You need multiple sets with multiple different stat distributions for multiple different builds. That there is a 6-week chase on its own. 6-week chase. Bear in mind there's 3 weeks left to Lash and Iron. So you've got plenty of content in the game right now. Well, not content, but you've got plenty of pursuits to go and chase for. I need a Bushido Strategist build. I need a Bushido Paragon build. I need a Techsec this build. I need a Solstice build. I need this. I need that. I need Solar Titan. I need Strand Titan. I need Song of Flame Warlock. I need to try Case Reach 200 Superstar build. I need to use 200 Superstar Blade Barrage build. And the list goes on and on, and I need Grapple Melee build. Do you see now? This system is designed that you don't get every build, basically. They've created a system where you're basically not going to get every build until months and months later on. I think people don't realise the implications of the new armour system and how far it's knocked you back. In a good sense, in actual fact. I mean, there's pros and cons, but it's knocked you back a ton on build crafting. All your old armour's trash. It's all trash. You need to refarm armour up. You need to refarm the new sets up. You need to delete all your old exotics with health. All those old resilience armour pieces, they're gone. Trash them. They're no good for nothing. Health stats a dead start anyways. There's so much that you need to do. And people haven't even leveled yet, never mind that. So, you know, there's so much to be going on with. Which, I mean, is it a bad problem for armor chase? I don't think so. I think the armor chase is fine. It's the 450 power leveling curve that's the problem for people. It's too long of a grind. I like a grind. You can tell I'm a grindy person. I mean, I know I should be giving you a comment on this, but let me just quickly tell you this. I don't think I've ever told you this. I'm a very grindy player in terms of gaming. My history is that I'm specialised in Final Fantasy games of the old kind. So grinding was my thing, right? That was my thing that I would love, especially as a kid and stuff, right? You know, so I'm used to playing grindy games and, you know, really going in and then, you know, going for the grind. So this new grind, I mean, it hasn't bothered me as much as other players, because once I've done it, like, I'm like, well, I've done it now. It wasn't that bad, you know. It could have been worse than this, but it was probably... The 450 grind is bad. It needs to be dialed in, and it's very easy to dial it in. Just double portal drops. It's so simple. So if there's a +3 right now, have primes drop at a +6. There you go. Answer solved. And buff the drop rates of them. The portal's got all the potential in the world. The portal works fine. It's the drop rates. It's the +3. Why does it go from +4 to +3 and all that business? All they need to do is double what we've done. Answer solved. Then you can go about your day and have your dinner. That's it. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. Just double up what we've got. That's all they need to do. If they half the grind in half, it's solved. There you go. Right, I need to get back to my commentary on this. So, phase 1 is a bunch of Minotaurs with super for this phase. Look at how good for the super this is. It's blinding all the targets. I am weak here though. I need to always pay attention to exit strategy. That's not the weapon exit strategy. That's the exit strategy of a Roman super. You need to really think about your health after that Fist of Havoc is finished. Yeah, there's a little bit of skill with that, and you need to sort of recognise and take a step back and think, hang on a sec, I'm having a good old time with this super, but hang on a minute, I'm 20% super remaining, my shields are broken, what do I do? Yeah, okay, now I need to back up, because there's too many ads in middle, there's 5-6 Minotaurs, there's 2 Cyclopses up top, we need to think about repositioning ourselves, yeah? Now look at the Cyclopses, we've melted them. I mean, honestly, look at this, watch this, there you go, Techsec brilliance. Techsec king. Honestly, oh, but we get pushed here by a damn Minotaur. That was unpredictable. That was unpredictable, so I've got to be careful here. I'll use a bit of rocket sidearm. This Rage Bane is very tanky. It's not the sidearm, it's the Bane. As the more you damage them, the more resistance they become, and the bigger they get as well. So I need to get a good barricade up because I'm starting to mess around too much with these Minotaurs. But look at that shield break. So I need a super really. But I am keep blinding them, so I'm doing some work. For sure. Get pushed to my left. Yep, this is Fanatic phase. On the Fanatic phase, you get digital enemies. Now they can catch you off guard. If you miss that spawn, you won't realise that there's Fanatics and stuff. Be careful on that phase. A rocket sidearm will destroy the drone enemies in one shot. So there's a unique effect there. Also, you can super them like that and it one-shots them. Be careful of drone enemies. They sneak up on you very fast. Their AI is increased on this difficulty. Be careful. Look at that blind. Look at the blind. Now with Demon's Tail, you do increased damage on hipfire. If you can hipfire crit, say very close, you will do actually more crit damage with Cranial Spike. Remember, Vorpal Weapon buffs with it. You want Vorpal Weapon on this, not 4 times the charm, because you want damage, not more ammo. You've saw the reload. The reload's buffed. Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. 2-3 reloads. Boom, you load it up. 4 times the charm is not needed. What's needed is Vorpal Weapon. Vorpal Weapon is a 20% damage bonus for primaries. Yeah? Vorpal Weapon DMT. There you go. It's everything that you want. I think Xur still sells these, right? Does he? I can't even remember. My memory eludes me on this. Does he still sell DMT every week with random rolls? Can't remember. He used to do that, didn't he? I can't, honestly, there's so much going on in the game at the minute, I'm just forgetting stuff. But I presume a lot of you should have a Vorpal Weapon DMT. If you don't, why? Is it because somebody told you Vorpal Weapon is useless? Well, if somebody told you that, they told you that. Don't be baited. Don't be baited by that stuff. Vorpal Weapon is extremely valuable to us on primaries, especially if it's an exotic primary, because that's stacked with everything else that exotic primaries get. Now look at this. When you stun an overlord with Boom Slang or Jolting Feedback, you will in fact stun them twice, not once. This allows you to definitely kill an overlord, because you won't one cycle them, not on this difficulty, but you will 2 cycle them. And that is because that target is still jolted. So even if you're hitting them with DMT, Solar Sidearm, it doesn't matter. They're still jolted. And that's why a utility. Now imagine if I had a precision instrument Boom Slang there. What would it have done? Think about it. What would have it done for me there? I would have had to rely on a pulse nade, number 1. Now, say I didn't have the pulse nade, well then I'm not jolting him. Then I would need to run around the map, wait for a pulse nade, then jolt the guy with a pulse nade, and then play harder. Because I'm using the wrong Boom Slang, you see. Don't use the wrong Boom Slang. That's the first thing you need to do, is don't use the wrong weapon. Use the right one, the one that you need for the run. Try to use the weapons that you actually need as opposed to what you think you might need. Just run what you need for the run. Don't go too fancy. That right, here we go, drone enemies, you need to get rid of them. This is the Fanatic phase, you get another Fanatic wave. Be careful on the Fanatic wave. Fanatic can one-shot you, so you've got to be very careful. This is a good spot to stand as well with the Fanatics. Goblins, we're just dealing with them. I have a super to burn, so that's what I'm going to use right now. My next plan is to actually super the VIP targets, the VIP Void Minotaurs. That they are the priority right now, because how I want to do this is I want to get rid of those, then I can kill barriers. Because if you try and kill barriers when the VIPs are up, they're going to rush you, which will cause you problems. So I want to try and do this in a way where we're not causing problems. So I have a super to burn, the liberties of 100 super stat, right? So I'm not concerned with super damage, but I am concerned with VIP damage, so I'm going to do this. That's a loyal fist. That's a good little fist there. But that guy, we can't really get him. And the barriers are starting to relocate differently. So I need to back up a little bit. So I'm going to decide to maybe take one of the barriers. But we'll try it from here. See how this strat plays out. Now one of the barriers is a sniper. The other 2 are void. This is a bit of a problem because I've left that sniper up. Let's just see if I can deal with this barrier in time. So I'm jolting him here. I can't remember if I do. That Minotaur's blinded. Look at this. Yeah, we can't. Look at that. Yeah, no good. Not loaded, and the barriers are now collapsing on me. That was unfortunate. They were pushing up against me there a little bit. Like I've told you, Barrier Champ AI has been buffed, and you can see it there. You know, I'm having to back up because of that. Ideally, the problem is this the Minotaur still alive? But look, he keeps TPing, and now a barrier is TP'd on my location. Yeah, this phase actually lost me time a bit. Because look what's happening here. The ants are sort of playing around with me. They're manipulating now my AI, and it's actually been a little annoying, but that's fine. The first barrier that you need to kill probably is the sniper. He's the threat. The void ones are not the threat. Look, there's two different barriers. Two different styles. And they're holding hands. This is like a bit of an annoyance right now. And I'm getting sniped, getting weak. Short circuiting is up. I need to de-aggro a little bit. Yeah, look at that. So I need to do a bit more damage with the linear. This is where I need to do burst damage. There we go. Barrier goes down. Now the risk has been reduced to 0. There was a little risk there with that. Because short circuit was proccing quite a lot. And yeah, I just needed to burst down that barrier, but they were all holding hands, making it a little bit more difficult for me. That's okay. Now we have controlled the situation. It got out of hand a little bit there, but we're back in control. Again, try and hip fire with the DMT. I mean, I do and I don't. It just depends on how I feel. But if you do get the crit, but these, yeah, look, 95. So 95, so that's 3 crits. 3 crits of Dead Man's Tail competes with Arbalest. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? 3 crits, Cranial Spike, Vorpal Weapon DMT is the equivalent of Arbalest 1 crit. Arbalest special weapon. You need to manage its ammo. DMT is not a special weapon. Do you see how crazy that is? This is Arbalest, but in primary form. Basically, this weapon is now the superior Wish Ender. It's the superior Wish Ender. That's essentially what it is. I've got a super. This is final phase. Look at Cranial Spike again on the Cyclopses. Incredible damage there. I'm just going to use this super because I've got it to burn. Get rid of the Minotaurs. Back up at 10% super energy for exit strat. Now we're going to bait the Overlord. We're going to make him sing to my tune, but one of the other Minotaurs is pushed, which is not ideal. So I'm going to get a barricade down. The Overlord does push. I didn't think he would, but there he goes. Pulsing it goes down because I want to increase my damage on this Minotaur and get... Because look what's happening here. That's what I'm saying. I wanted to do more jolt damage to protect myself. I get weak a little bit, but it's enough to round it out. There you go. So I'm having that bolt, charge, pulse nade, etc. just helped out with that situation because there was... I was wanting to isolate the Overlord away from the Minotaurs, but that didn't exactly work out. There's a Bane in middle. Look at Super Regen. Look at this. We've got it back. Look at the blinds in mid. The whole strat is to do DMT, ball charge, DMT, ball charge, super, and then rinse and repeat this strat in this room. This room's very difficult. This is what makes this GM difficult. In a little bit. I mean... It depends on how you say or define difficulty, because Conquest Delve can all be taken from a distance. So people would say, well, it's not that difficult, it's just long. But yeah, you're right, but it takes a lot out of you. You need a lot of stamina for this, in terms of like, right, well, you need to keep trucking along. And for some people, they tank out. Gaming like this for, I don't know, 40, 45 minutes solo-wise. People are going to tap out. People are going to tap out after 30 minutes of intense play. You know, you're doing your supers, you're retreating, you're doing crit damage, you're managing your health, you're managing your abilities. It's too much for some. Now what's this? Look at this weirdness. Whenever you see this happen, you're going to get kicked from servers. That barrier just all of a sudden starts walking around. Look at this. What was that, man? Whenever that happens, I can tell you that I was close to an error code there. I don't end up getting error coding. But whenever a barrier does something stupid like that, the game starts to go weird. The game went... I'm lucky I didn't get it recorded there. I mean, I'm 30 minutes in, so I'm glad I didn't get it recorded, but there was something weird happened there. I use a super. This is Fnatic and Riven Phase. That's a good super because that's dealt with a lot of those ads there, actually. A lot of Fanatics, the digital enemies, the drones. Oh, there's one left. That's fine. Look at the rocket sidearm. See that? Sidearm deals with the drones very well. Okay, so now we need to get rid of the rest of the ads. But at some point, we're going to loop around. Once these Fanatics are taken care of, I'm going to loop around to my Riven strat. I have a strat for Rivens, and I'll do this Riven strat on any character at all. Your best place to stand is right over here. You'll see it. So I'm just looping around here. And it's right here. Try to not deal with the barriers yet. I mean, if you want to, you can, but there's a bit of a risk associated. Because look, as soon as we engage with the barriers, the Rivens come to me. Now, be careful on what you tank here. Yeah, just remember you haven't got Void Resist on. Just make sure you're managing your HP. I mean, we've got a good opportunity here, actually. I might deal with this barrier. Look, he showed himself to me. So if a barrier shows himself to you like this, look. So I'm going to burst him down. Before those Rivens start to become a problem, there we go. That's one barrier down. That's a proactive thing. Because that was the sniper barrier. The sniper barriers are the threat, not the other ones. The other ones are very tame. So now the strat is to use Crano Spike, DMT, and super. We're going to super here. We'll have a nice loyal super. We've got it to burn. One thing about Fist of Havoc, it's not brilliant against Rivens, yeah? It's not doing Song of Flame stuff. That's what slows down the Bolt Charge Titan run, actually. Is the super. It's not that good on Rivens, you know. That's its weakness. The Bolt Charge is okay on them. But other than that, the super's not incredibly strong. So look, we've got two Rivens. One's half HP. So this is where we need to start, you know, managing this rock, working the arena, working the map. Keep strafing left and right, up and forward, back and forth. Look, that stops. Now I'm going to use... I've got loads of ammo on the floor. I don't need to manage my ammo anymore. So I'm going to waste all my special and all my heavy on these Rivens. Because, look at that, see? Overcommitment. Overcommitment. That's what we're saying. I mean, you can be too cocky. I was a second of too much cockiness there. I was overconfident slightly. Yeah, so this is where you've got to work that HP and work the Rivens. So this is it. This is it. You've got to just keep doing that. Managing that health while doing single target damage like this. I've got another super to burn. So when I get my pulse... when I get my pulse grenade, which is very soon, I'm going to pulse grenade then super. It'll just add a bit more damage for my super. It'll make up for the lack of super damage that I do with this. There we go. We'll do a nice loyal fist. Make sure you go up high with your jumps. So every slam will do more damage if you are up in the air. Also, the shoulder charge is quite nifty on Riven damage. It's actually quite nice. There we go. We're basically done now. One Riven is nearly dead. Second Riven is half HP. I've still got plenty of special and heavy, so I'm going to start using that in a minute as well. But yeah, this bit is a little long. It is tedious, for sure. Especially on Titan it is. But yeah, we'll just keep doing our barricades like this. So we're repeating the strat over and over. It's the same thing. Only one or two barriers left. We'll get rid of this the first Riven. There we go. And then it's just the final one. I'm getting another super. This is it, man. It just makes your super into a throwaway ability. If you rock the right stat. Just use a bit more of the sidearm. I'm really getting fed up with this Riven now. But I have a super to burn, so I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to super him, and then this room is now finally complete. Look at this. He outplays me there with a damn teleport. That's okay though, just get rid of him. There we go, he's finished. 2 barriers left. No ammo is needed now. There's a banner to put in 2 minutes. So we can just be wasteful with ammo, it doesn't really matter. Focus on one of your barriers, don't try to dual task both of them. Just get rid of one and then the next one, that's just really what you should do. There we go, do our hip fire. And you can just melt them down like this, behind a barricade. It's very relaxed actually. A relaxed way of dealing with barriers is just like this. And it's competitive. It's competitive to outbreak damage. I know because I was using outbreak yesterday. I'd done the outbreak run, I'd done it, and it wasn't as good as this run, for sure. Just because the nanite damage is freaking out. It freaks out the barriers. Whereas DMT just makes them relaxed. You just relax, you casually kill them. Whereas with outbreak, it's a full-on mission. You've got to do damage, the barrier hides, and he goes behind cover all the time. They just freak out because of it. Okay, I've got a super to burn. I'm just going to get rid of the servitor. Let's just get rid of him. Just get rid of him because you're going to put a banner in a minute. So you can use his heavy weapon. Look at this. He's cowering in those Bahama trees. Look at that. Just get rid of the Vex in middle. There we go. Next couple of ads can be skipped. So you just run past them. Be careful. You know, if you're going to solo this, try and do flawless. But I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? You've got 8 revives. So it wouldn't matter if I did die. But you realise on YouTube it does matter. If somebody sees a run and it's not flawless, nowadays people are strict on people. They'll tell them to run it back. If I died on this run, which I didn't, but if I did, I can guarantee you somebody would tell me, yeah, you need to run it back, you died. They don't care. People don't care. You get no loot difference, by the way. If it's flawless or not, there's no trying for this. But people still do care on YouTube. They want to see flawless. They want to see flawless gameplay. They want to know and what to do and when not to die. Because Destiny 2 players just don't like dying in Destiny 2, and that's it. So if they can see runs where people aren't dying on YouTube, that's the YouTube meta. And we've got to consider that. It's not just D2 meta, it's YouTube meta or Twitch meta. And what I mean by that is, what do people want? What do people want to watch? Well, there's certain standards that we need to meet. There is certain gameplay standards we need to meet for video. If the standard's not up to par, you will feel it, and your videos just won't do well enough. And your endeavours will be pointless. For those content creators who are trying to, you know, make it in PvE, well, it's strict. Can't die in runs. Your runs need to be flawless. You need to know what you're talking about at all times. And that's just basically how it goes. Get rid of the boss. Get rid of the ads in middle as well. And now it's the free wave servitors. Fallen spawn in middle. But I've got a super to burn, so I'm going to use that right now. Free servitors all around the map. I start right, mid, left. That's just how I do it. I'm going to let the ads come to middle. The ads are going to get tethered by the boss. But look, this just makes it so much easier. Look, there we go. Penetrate immunity. And the fist is doing incredible ad clear, by the way. Not so good on champ damage. Not so good on boss damage. But we've got single target damage via DMT. So it doesn't matter. Oh, I mean, it would matter. I mean, it would be nice if I could have Symphoseps on right now. But I can't run Symphoseps. You know. So that's just the nature of what's happening right now. Once we've done my super, I'm going to farm my next super. Look at that chunk. Look at the chunk. There you go. I can tell you with a tier 2 superstar, you're not getting that. You won't get the same results. Look at that. That's a super every 30 seconds. So you can harvest super energy off bosses. There you go, another super. So look at this, we're working the entire room. No point to super the servitor. It's better to super the ads. So look, there's plenty of ads to be worked. So watch we do it here. Now look at that. I super too late. I should have supered a bit sooner than that, and I'm not trusting it. So I do a little bit of super, and then I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not wiping the run at this. I mean, I could have done more super there, but I was like, yeah, back up, back up. I should have supered a bit sooner than that. What happened was, the Servitor Enraged damage was within my proximity as I popped Fist of Havoc. So I was a little bit, not lazy, but I was wanting to get more out. I was wanting my cake and I eat it. Whereas I should have just said, no, I'll have the cake and save it for next Tuesday. That's what I should have done, right? But I was wanting my cake and eat it. I was wanting the maximum amount of Fist of Havoc gains from that super, but then the Servitor made me eat my words and done his Enrage attack before I had super damage resistance kick in from the super. So that was just a little lesson learned there. Don't overcommit too much. You get too cocky in runs. I was getting cocky in this run a few times. Just cause, I guess because I was getting a little bit of impatience with the run, because it's long, man. It's a long run, this. It is. Conquest Delve's long, and I've done it a few times already now. So yeah, you know, I was thinking, you know, my hand's a little sore. I fancy, you know, getting off now at the minute to just want to eat something, you know. So that's what I was thinking, you know. But it was affecting my composure a little bit. I was making some wrong decisions, you know. So I'm talking split-second decisions here, mind. I ain't just talking, you know, stupid decisions. I'm talking about minor split-second decisions. When you're hungry, you know, you make the wrong decisions. If you're trying to solo this and you're hungry, I advise you don't do it. Go and have your food and then come back to it. When you're hungry, you will make decisions wrong. It's true. Absolutely. It's real world advice. Don't fast when you're trying to do this. That's the advice. Right, get rid of this servitor. We got rid of him, and then it's a Bane. He's finishable. Get rid of the Rage Bane. There we go. I've got a super to burn, but I'm not going to use it. Don't need it, because it's not very useful on Servitor. Anyways, look at this damage. 69. Look at this. It's written in the stars. 69, 69, 69 damage. We can do more than that, though. So watch this damage enhancement. I'm allowed to do this. There's no ads alive. I've controlled the entire room, so I have license to do this. Watch this. Pulse nade. Oh no, it's not less, is it? Hit by his mod. There we go. I was starting to doubt my own damage numbers. 86. What? It's cranial spike, obviously. 86, 86, 86, 86. There you go. Do you see the damage buff with hipfire? You can only do that though when you're close to the boss. So we do get that damage boost. Right, if we're close to the boss, which we can do that. The enragement of a servitor is like 5 meters, so if we're 10 meters, he ain't going to enrage on me. So we can take advantage of that positioning right there. Okay, hands in middle, same thing again. There's another wave of no, sorry, this is the next set now. This is where the barrier champs spawn in. We have a super to use. So we go with that first. Because this is strategy, right? We're not going to sit on our super. Because we don't need to. Because we're going to get one back. Some of you Titan mains will sit on a super till orbit. He's taken that super to orbit, not me. I am the most spammable Titan of supers that you'll ever see. Yeah? I will never sit on supers. Only if I really need to will I sit on it. If there's a cause of reason, then we will. Like, well, watch this. Watch this. Now we've got Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in mid. He's dealing with Calyx. We've got Rush Hour 7 in mid. He is entertained with Jackie. I can then deal with these barriers and have to not deal with the boss. The boss is multitasking the enemies in middle. Because the boss is fallen, the enemies are Vex. So look at this. Look at what we've done here. We're killing both barriers from a distance. Yeah, we're watching your family from a distance. Watching them eat dinner. And we're getting rid of the barrier. And we've got a Roman super to then use it again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Look at that. Rush Hour 7 has worked properly in mid. Those Minotaurs will fight that guy for a forever in eternity. Now I can intervene and say, yeah, Jackie and Chris has done the job for me. I can get rid of them now. And now it's just me and the boss. It's isolation, it's methodical gameplay, and you can work the room. I'm going to speed the footage up here because I need this video below 60 minutes for editing purposes. So I'm just going to speed up this footage. Look at the damage here. Just look at that hip fire, man. Barricade, hip fire, barricade, hip fire. Crazy damage, man. I'm saving heavy ammo purposely because I want to speed up the overload and Riven phase. This allows me to spam a lot of heavy ammo. But I have a super to burn. Same thing again. Yeah. We've got, what can we say this time? We've got Under Siege 2, Steven Seagal in middle. Steven Seagal's in middle, sorting out Calyx. I can then take the barriers yet again from a distance. So watch, there we go, boom, boom, super out. Barricade, initiate location on him. There we go, we see him. He's looking over, he's interested. I can then just get rid of this barrier yet again. Now I'm going to start spamming heavy because I haven't been using heavy. So I'm like, yeah, let's just start getting some of that heavy usage. Let's jolt him for the damage, for the increased damage for DMT. There we go. That's one barrier down. Super is nearly obtained. I need to do a bit more single target damage. And then I get my super back. And then I can super middle again. So we're working middle over and over. Yeah. I'm going to super it because I've got it to burn. I've got it to use. The shoulder charge does tremendous damage. The slam's doing good damage. But the shoulder charge seems to do a bit more than the slam actually. Against certain targets. Second barrier to take. There we go. We can stand here and we can hip fire. Because we're within distance to hip fire the DMT. So we can do the hip fire. We can get rid of this barrier, no problem. Pay attention to debuff. Pay attention to haste. Look, we keep getting rid of it back and forth, back and forth. That's what's so good about this. If you can hip fire DMT and move left and right and up and down, that counters haste. Because a lot of people will struggle with haste. But if you hip fire like this with DMT, you can get away with it, you know. You can and PC players can do this even better than me because they're on a keyboard and mouse. They have more better key bindings or whatever, you know. So they can manage strafing and shooting easier than a console player just because they're on PC. Mine, I'm playing paddle controller, so I can do it pretty easy as well. Don't make no mistake. I'm underplaying myself a little bit here. I'm on paddle controller. I can strafe and do crit damage, no problem. No problem at all, I can do that. And manage my health. Yeah, because you see in the gameplay, that's what I'm doing. So this boss needs to be taken care of. There's one more boss off after this. Obviously. I have a super to use. I'm not going to use it on the boss. Of course I'm not. Going to save special ammo. Saving everything. Don't need it. He does keep throwing his mines. Make sure you shoot them down. That will create problems for you. Because if he throws your mine, you're going to get debuffed by short circuiting. So be very careful of that. Okay. Let's get rid of this boss now. Man, this is hard work for commentary, I must admit. Such a long GM, it really is, man. Alright. Hydra boss in mid. We're going to do some crit damage to him. Look at this. He penetrates his shield, look. Peace and Scout. I'm going to do my damage now to get my preparation for him. Rivens are coming and collapsing on my position. I'm going to use a super when that Riven gets close. This is where you stand. Yeah. So I'm going to get a barricade up. Be careful, the Riven can kill you here. Drone enemies in mid, get rid of them because they'll push you. Be careful of drone enemies. And this is what we're going to do. Super here. I should have waited for probably the Vex enemies, but that's alright. I want to get my super out now. So I'm going to do my super. What's it doing? A third damage to the Riven. Not bad. It's alright. Could be a bit more though, for sure. Vex enemies have collapsed. There are 2 Minotaurs. Don't worry about Minotaurs. They're the least of our worries. The Riven is the issue. And yeah, the Vex milk, by the way, does not hurt you in this. I don't know if it's bugged or intentional, but all the Vex fluid on this map does no damage to you at all. take advantage of it. So you can go in that little well. Do you see that? Yeah, and we're just going to hip fire. We're just going to hip fire, move around, bolt charge. I need to start using more heavy. I don't know why. I need to whip it out very soon. Although there's 2 overloads to kill. I'm farming super, I can see. Because I am close to it. But yeah, we're doing some nice damage here. It's decent. And it's safe-ish. Just be careful of the bolts, you know. Okay, close to our super. I'm about to use it. I've got a pulse grenade as well. I should probably save the pulse for the overloads. I mean, I've got jolting feedback anyway, so it doesn't matter all that much. I'll see what I do here. I'm not sure. But I do want to get rid of that Riven because he's slowing the run up now. Super goes in. I get weak-ish off the Vex Goblins. I was like, oh, then I'm alright. Vex Shocker, you see. Pulse grenade goes in. I'm like, yeah, de-aggro a little bit because it's 2 overloads. Riven is killed anyways, so let's just get rid of him. I've got rocket sidearm to use, so that's what I'm going to use here. There we go, we got rid of him. 2 overloads, they are the least of my problems. I've got so much heavy, it's okay. Okay, so now I can just deal with these overloads comfortably. The overloads are not the threat, it's the Riven, it's all day the Riven. But I want you to think about this. I done this yesterday on a Warlock 10 minutes faster than a Bolt Charge Titan. With you know here. So I want you Warlock mains, if you're watching this, think about that just for a minute. Bolt Charge Titan's OP. It has got a few weaknesses though. We've highlighted them in the run. But Warlock, well, it does the same thing as Bolt Charge. You know your Warlock does the same thing as Bolt Charge. And it's got a better super. So if I was to compare your Warlock to Bolt Charge Titan, I think your Warlock's more powerful. I think people have very underestimated on how damn powerful that is on single target damage. It's spammable as well with the Phoenix Dive. It's incredibly potent. And that's what we're saying, most people will do this on Bolt Charge Titan. Because it's the nature of the GM. It's a long range GM, If he was more CQC, then Strand Titan would be better. Solar Titan would definitely be better. But the nature of the GM warrants a long range build. That's just the nature of it. I'm going to speed up the footage here because we're at the very end. Getting rid of these final goblins. Boss is half HP. So we're just going to keep doing... This is good. Look at this. This safety of damage here. The Hydra can't even hit me from here. So look at that damage. Nice. Okay, same thing. Final phase. There are no overloads though. It's just a Riven. So I'll use my super and my jolt. There we go. Doing nice damage there. We're doing a bit more damage on that super. This Riven's half HP. So now I'm spamming rocket sidearm. I'm spamming my heavy. I'm making sure I don't die, of course. Manage that health accordingly. But yeah, we are just getting rid of this Riven as quickly as we can, really. Because the run's finished now, to be honest. The run is basically done. Look at this damage with the sidearm. So good. Jolting him so good because we can kill the ads while doing single target damage. That's why jolting feedback's so good. It does 2 things. Ad clear and single target. You want the world. When you're solo, you are solo. So you want the world. When I say you want the world, I mean you want every aspect of Destiny 2 gameplay. One-man army. Solo single target damage and clear. You want everything because you are everything in the run. You can't rely on your fire team, mate. You are the man for the run. Your build needs to hit all areas. It's a tick box exercise. But there we go. I finished the boss off. That was a solo GM for this conquest. Getting the 450 loot. You will see that I get the loot. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.